Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Grassroots Weekender show. Hope everyone's keeping fine out there and you are really enjoying yourselves, having a great time, because today is actually the hottest day of the summer. Well, I don't think it is, because going back, I think June, I was away, but I'm sure you had a little bit of hot weather. Or was it when I come back? I think it was when I come back, to be honest. It wasn't too bad. We had a heat wave for 2 days and we got one for 1 day, because apparently it's all coming to an end tomorrow with rain and wind, but it might be mild according to the weather forecasters. So make the most of it if you haven't already. And as you can see, no young commentators, because 6 weeks holidays begin. They're going to enjoy themselves. 6 weeks break, unless you have a really, when Dan or Jaden or Ben, maybe Oliver, have an emergency, maybe you've got a guest coming in that they'd like to interview, then we get in touch with them and we'll go from there. Anyway, good luck to all the lads. I'm sure they're going to have a really fantastic time, and when they come back, we are certainly working on mental health in grassroots football. Absolutely astonishing what we're hearing about the kids and things like that. So our hearts of gold, this is where it comes into. We are really getting stuck in, and I'm hoping to have a meeting with my MP next week. Things are starting to look up. We've got big things going ahead. We've got a song as well that we're bringing up. So again, I'm looking for a few kids with football kits who have a little voice, probably up to about 14 years of age. A couple of kids, and they're going to be wearing the football kits in this song that I am coming up with as well. So get in touch, maladon'txtheline.com. Love to hear from you. Anyway, as we say, it's not too hot, which is a good thing in the studio at the moment. Normally we're sweating like mad, and we're getting ready for can't wait, drawing it out, you know what I mean, loads of water, but I'm okay at the moment. There's nothing that's untoward, if you know what I mean. Anyway, looking forward to the weekend, and I'm sure you've got 1 or 2 games left before the end of your summer leagues. I hope you've been doing well in them. I'd love your feedback on them. How's it been going? And what we're hearing is obviously depressing news, isn't it? Because, you know, I'm part of that myself, because I've folded 2 teams. Club DXT LFC, 2 cracking little teams. I haven't stood down yet. I stand down in August, and I say farewell to them all, and I back off then and just, you know, wave on to the kids, and I am sure things will look up for them. They were under 7s. I had them with Sophie, and now they're moving up to under 8s, and we're getting Sophie and Jack to support them, and the kids will do well, I'll tell you that now. Anyway, you're back out, as I say, tomorrow, so enjoy yourselves. Loads of respect. All the pre-season friendlies start. I'm talking about your Premier League, things like this, you know, games coming together, new signings, transfers, loads of rumours flying around. How many players are going to leave Liverpool? Who's the biggest shock? Who's going to leave us? A lot of rumours there as well, so I'm sure it'll be on Sky News today and over the weekend. But let's see what signings we actually get in, because now the Euros is over. And obviously, I think we can talk about the Euros, can't we? Because I know everyone's praising England, everyone like that. I just couldn't get in to the England team, and I did state that right from the word go. And I was obviously, I wasn't sort of like rooting for Spain, but I just thought Spain would just win it right the way through. I wasn't going to change my mind. Why should I change my mind? Because I think, because I'm from England. It wasn't. It's to do with football, and everyone states the best team won. Now, anyone in the real mind would have thought, you know, England's all the way. People were telling us when they qualified in the group stages, well, they've done the job, this is what they've done. We had an easy run in, and now we're hearing, obviously Southgate stepped down, foregone conclusion, and everyone's wondering why, but he did state that at the start of the season, before all the Euros began. He said he's looking to stand down from the England team at the end of the tournament. So what was the big deal there? Now everyone's racing around who we're going to get. Jurgen Klopp, hope not. I don't think he will, to be honest. He'll stand down. Eddie Howe, my forecast was him, and David Moyes, that was another forecast to take the Scotland job in the near future. Won't be far wrong there, to be honest. Now let's see if Eddie Howe gets the England job. We're talking grassroots here, we're talking England, and I've just come off grassroots to go on to the England subject. We'll go back onto the grassroots subject very, very shortly indeed. But I wanted to get this one out of the way because obviously England is out of the way now. And Spain, worthy winners of the tournament. And Yamal, please tell me how Rodri won the Player of the Year. And when you look at all the stats as well, that kid for 17 or 16 years, let's go for that, because that was the majority of his game. One game he had at 17, and he still managed to assist a goal. Unbelievable player, what a kid. And if you look at him right the way through all the stats, he had something like 4 assists, a couple of goals in there as well. And you're looking, and Rodri, he was not on the stats anywhere. Every other player was about passing, moving, and yet they give it to him and give Yamal the Young Player of the Year. That was totally ridiculous. I don't know who's picking these, to be honest, because if you looked at the game, the Ollie Watkins, and I apologise for saying that, Ollie, whatever it was the other day, I got his name wrong, and I got loads of stick over that. Ollie Watkins, he got man of the match when he scored the goal. Absolutely ridiculous. Who can do that? Who can do that? That doesn't make sense. That is not football-minded people. That is just sheer blatantly biasness. And to be honest, this is what I can't stand in football. You've got to tell it how it really is, and that's all I'm trying to say. England were not good enough. I love the Euros, don't get me wrong. There were some teams who were thrown hell for leather. There was, unfortunate teams who were going out on 4 points. You don't know what they'd have done, It was just, my forecast was Netherlands and Spain in the final, with Spain obviously winning it. And I did say, I think I forecast Spain to beat England 2-1. No extra time, and I think that's the way it was. But hey ho, it's all over. Who's going to be your favourite manager coming in to the England team? But I just feel that some of the players who were taken there had a raw deal as well. Now we're talking about 3 or 4 players carrying injuries that Southgate brought in to play, and Harry Kane was one of them. Now I saw a stat the other day, which is unbelievable. It was Joe Gomez and Harry Kane. They were side by side. Harry Kane, 406 goals scored, no trophies. Joe Gomez, no goals, 7 trophies. It's just beggars belief how this player shared a golden boot as well. And I don't see how he done that, because players had more assists than him. Foreign players to Cody Gakpo, I think he had 2 assists on top of his 3 goals. Kane, penalties, I think that should all be taken into account. You can't share it with 4 or 5 players, the golden boot. It doesn't make sense to me, it really, really doesn't. Give it to one, even Buchan's, take that off them. It's not fair play. Do it like that and give it to the one player if everyone's tied on the 3. And if someone's got assist, they go up the league. Surely do. That's what the golden boot is, all about football, not just about goals. Anyway, that's my little rant over about England. I'm sure you've all had your own what's going on, what was happening, and the score at the end of the day was Spain did win. And we were looking at Harry Kane getting knighted, Southgate getting knighted. That'll still happen with Southgate, I'll guarantee you, because the way royalty is all over him and what he's done. He's the best successful manager for England. You've got to go and win things, and I'm sure he'll hold his own hand up and say, yeah, I didn't do this, but what happens if one manager comes in and wins 1 trophy? Wow, that's going to be the greatest manager ever, isn't it? It doesn't make sense to, get facts right, and that's me. Anyway, from grassroots football, from this to grassroots football. Now, the biggest concerns that I've got now, we've folded 2 teams, as I just said earlier on. Other teams, and I've heard that Belfry as well, it's gone for many, many years. They've folded their club as well. All these things. Now, I went in for the disciplinary, not for our teams, to stand in for another team, to be honest. And obviously, I won't disclose the team name, but, when I went in for the disciplinary, I was invited in. It was great because I was fighting the cause and I had the will and the nous of what had really gone on, and I put that to them. And eventually I won my case. But I won my case in a sense where everything was cleared, there was no real proof about things. And unfortunately, every team that goes in for the disciplinary will always get whacked with a big fine anyway, of you failing, or the manager has failed to control his or her parents. And I think that needs looking into in a big way, because it's easy money. And I did tell head of the disciplinary, won't mention names, that it was a farce basically, you know, what has gone on. I disagreed with the decision, because it did go to an appeal in the first place, and it was something over £200 that the club had to pay. And I thought it was scandalous, you know, because we're fighting to keep teams in grassroots football. Now I did state, and I did have a little go, because I do support referees, and I did say that the most important people in grassroots football are the managers, and that was laughed at, and that was thrown out, and it wasn't. It was the referees, and that was proof of the pudding. Exactly, referees are more important to the county FAs than managers or coaches. And if you look at the bigger picture, take all your managers and coaches away from grassroots football. Take them away. Take the referees away. Will we still have a game? Could people stand there and referee? Take all your managers and coaches away. But that many courses, who's going to run the teams? So let's take all the teams away. What are the referees doing on the pitch there? What are the referees on the pitches for? This is me. This is what I'm saying. I believe that coaches and managers, absolutely fantastic. Getting the kids off the street, bring the kids together, bring the team together. Without them, where would the county FA been? They are the ones who run the team, but there's no importance when it comes to supporting them. We do need that. And I did state at the end of it that managers will step down. He started laughing, and I went, you watch by the end of the season. He went, every manager says that, who comes in here, every person says that, and what have you, that we're going to see. And I said, well, I'm not the manager, but I'm just forecasting. And lo and behold, I've stepped down from Don't Cross the Line. We've taken our teams away, we proved our point that respect matters, and we give that as much as we possibly could to make the awareness for Don't Cross the Line. It worked, because there wasn't a blight on DXTL's name throughout, and you can go to county FAs, you can go to leagues, no one had a bad word to say about two teams that we run, and the referees all loved us. They were brilliant. There wasn't a thing happened. No arguments, no parents having a go at any referee. It just did not happen. Just didn't happen. Anyway, I did say that managers would step down, teams would fold, and that was the laugh I got. And it's proven that I'm right. I knew. I said, let's wait till the end of the season and see. Now, clubs, as I just mentioned there, Belfry, DXTL, stood down, managers stood down me, my son stood down. There's two. How many managers from Belfry have stood down? How many teams have folded? Kids looking for other teams. And what we're looking at is people saying, that's all right, they're just getting to this team, this club, that. No, there's a shortage. Everyone is now saying they're full up with teams, with players. They'll have to start new teams and get more kids in. Is it worth the while? Because now we hear that the council, this is what I haven't heard it, what people are telling me, that pitch fees have gone up by 10%. If that's true, we are pricing kids out of the game of football, because these clubs will have to ask more money off the parents, more money that the kids are paying. It's just not making sense. And I can understand where they're trying to get the big clubs to run grassroots football. That couldn't happen. It really couldn't happen. It does not make sense. They all have to come under their banner, run the leagues, pay the fees. Won't happen. It really won't. They'll take one or two, because they've got the majority of kids in the academies anyway. But without no heading of the ball, what's happened? We've got that as another subject that's coming up. But my subject today is obviously about teams folding in grassroots football. I'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to see if any teams are folding within your club. I'm talking to managers now and club committee members who are saying they're really struggling getting money in because of the payments that they're making, the affiliation fees, the insurance money. Now, I've got a big meeting with my local MP, Dan Carden, next week, and I'm going to bring these matters to the attention of. I'm glad I'm stepping down from it because I was fed up with all the admin. I was fed up with going on the whole game system, putting everything in, chasing kids up, chasing parents up, dates of birth, emails, photographs, you name it. As a volunteer, is just unreal. Now, volunteers do not get paid a penny. I'm standing away from that. You look, referees will go to a football match and they will get paid. No harm in that. Coaches, the majority of coaches are going to matches voluntary and putting in their hand in their own pocket to buy kids things, and it's still happening. And people are letting them do that because they are on an annual wage. So they've got volunteers sitting on their shoulders doing their work. And I think we need to look into that one. We need to look in the price of courses. We need to look in what a manager has to do before he runs a team or she runs a team. We need to get this looked into because it is now becoming an absolute disgrace that teams are struggling for money. Some clubs will just probably laugh at me and say, no, this is the way you do it. But how much are you charging those parents? Are all those parents happy? Now, we're hearing about signing on fees as well to kids who join a club, not to the FA, because you sign their affiliation. That should be sign on enough, that's official. But now teams and clubs are starting to charge a sign-on fee. A sign-on fee for a child. Now, really, let's get contracts going, and if this is about it all, let us state a contractor's club that they can't move anywhere else. Because what you're getting for a sign-on fee, you're all paying the money. You're all paying the money into clubs. And I couldn't do that, not in a million years. We were only charging £20 a month. And if anything, which is the likes of Jeffrey Humble, which is a football hub, £51 for a quarter pitch for 1 hour, that'll go up. That is wrong for under sevens. It's totally wrong. For 1 hour for kids to train, then you had to get off, and adults were coming on. They're paying £200 for a full pitch. It's a disgrace where the money is going when you know that these hubs are charities as well, or charitable trusts. Where does the money come back to? These hubs are backed by the Football Foundation, the FA, the Premier League. They're partners, they're all partners in these hubs. And they're charging a fortune. And now you have cafes, nothing subsidised. It's a fortune. Kids are going in there getting a toast, whatever it may be. They're not getting subsidised for a charitable trust. So we're looking at the bigger picture here. It's the kids who are subsidising the whole of grassroots football through their parents. And people have got to take a back seat now and say, I'm not happy with this. Don't forget what you've got to pay for, kits and everything. Clubs will say, we do it. We give a majority of money back to kids who can't afford it. Disadvantaged children, parents, they help them. I totally agree with that. But why should we have to do it? Why should we all have to do it? There should be funding pots for the likes of that people apply to, and then they can pay the dues. But come on, let's get one thing straight. Clubs should not be making money. Leagues should not be having nest eggs in their coffers as well. They've got loads of money. That should all be spent on the teams. They're the members, on the teams that join that team, that league. It should all be spent on the teams they're the members, it's their money. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll tell you now, I'm not wrong. It's not. Money, everything should go on those teams that join. You can't have 10, 15, 20,000 in a bank account for a junior league. It doesn't make sense. It's the teams who are coming to you that should be looked after. And if I was running the league, that's exactly the way I'd do it. You don't make money, you just make sure that everyone's happy, everyone's enjoying themselves. Trophies at the end, yeah, but you still got coffers in your bank. It doesn't make sense because you can get cheap trophies. The kids are kids. People are starting to run down the trophies, and you see them. Some leagues will put on some great trophies as well, but they'll end up with 10, 15, 20, £30,000 in their bank account.
How many leagues are folding? None. How many teams are folding? Quite a few. This needs looking into. Please get in touch with me, mal@don'texttheline.com. We need to fight and keep these prices down so it's affordable for all the kids, every kid that's involved, within club football, within junior leagues and within grassroots football itself. Get these prices down, get the teas, the coffees, all the drinks, get these prices down. Don't be making a fortune out of kids football. It's not on, especially when you've got loads of managers out there, volunteers running these teams, coming home from work 24/7, putting everything into the junior team. Many of them are dads as well with managers, they are, and obviously they'll all tell you, but this is another subject that we're taught to. How many dads run a team and have got their son playing in the team? Is there favouritism along the way? We'll talk about that. We get managers in, we get people who matter, and hopefully I'll get my MP in, and maybe a county FA official, and we'll discuss this, maybe an FA official, because we need to discuss, we need to keep prices down, we need to get teams, we need to benefit these. I'm talking to my MP next week, let's see what we can come up with. There we go. In the meantime, I hope it's a very, very controversial show tonight, but it needs to be, to bring to the attention of grassroots football and leagues and what have you before the start of the season. What are you paying out? mal@don'texttheline.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow at 7 or maybe earlier. Myself, Mal Lane, all the team at the Grassroots Show. Don't cross the line. Respect campaign, no ref, no game, and our Heart of Gold initiatives. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night. God bless. I was going to leave it on there, but I'm not now. Good night.